All right, I'm going to show you how to do SEO analysis at the speed of light with a agent. So if you come to our site and sign up, you get a SEO analysis. You can connect it to a lot of different data, and you have agents like the SEO analysis, which you can click. It'll take you here, and I will demo an example of how fast this actually goes. So we benchmarked this. We hired a professional to do some SEO analysis on a domain, and then we had them do the exact things on with the tool. We compared it 1-to-1. The findings were exactly the same, and it was significantly faster. So basically the SEO professional was $1,200 and 2 weeks. And this tool is meant for that same professional, but it gets them their information a lot faster. So as it's going, I'll just explain what an agent is. It is just kind of a super chat where it helps you control the context window. It has access to tools to get information from different sources, and something like tasks and skills, which you're kind of seeing it launch here. So what it's doing is it is going through and it is basically setting up the subcontext so it can clean up his memory. And you want to do this because it saves you money. So that was just the first step. It's basically kind of like planning it. It's reading it, deciding what it's doing, and it's going to set the context. So I'm going to say proceed. And then what we're going to see here, not yet, but it is creating tasks. And so when it's planning to do something, it is creating all the steps that it needs to do. So it's blocking it out like a human would, like the big deep dive. And then what you're going to see is you're going to see it actually decompose them. So the agent of all the tasks it has to do, it is going to plan and refine that plan to a point where it can execute on it effectively. All right, so that's the first step. Usually it's like, let's plan our tasks. As a professional, you would review these. This technology is not meant to basically let it run. You want the stuff working with a professional. So when the agent plans, you can check the plan, you can update the plan and those tasks to make sure that it's doing things in the right order. And so all these went great. And so what happens in the system is, because after it does this, there's a bunch of context in the window. We don't need it anymore. So the system knows that, and it can basically turn off those old memories, much like a human would. It's like, oh, I need to remember that thing, do that plan. And once it's done, you don't just need that information more. You kind of like forget it. And this is kind of what the agent is doing. So it's just turning off those old memories, and it can turn them back on if it feels like it needs them. So the next step it's doing, now it's done all that, to save you time and money, it can do these tasks in parallel. So basically it's saying, okay, I'm going to create basically 7 slots, and then, okay, what's cool about this is it made a mistake and it is adapting. And so it failed making those tasks. It got something back, and it's not in the list here. So it is doing 4.5. So I have a typo in my thing. But what's kind of neat, this thing is smart enough to actually fix that. So the tool will error, and then we can go back through and fix it. So what's happening here is we are creating subchats to itself. You can see these chats underneath here. And so that means we get visibility into going here. And so it is following the tasks. And what we're doing is we are doing a vision process here where the chat is basically checking if it creates all these questions, and then it asks, and then this answers. So the agent answers. So what this does is, this is called context strengthening. And why this is really good is that it will basically remove hallucinations. It drastically reduces the hallucinations, because basically it looks at the data and it confirms it. So it gets a bunch of questions, and then it answers them, and then the hallucinations really drop, because you're just asking, hey, can you double check this stuff? And so it does it more thorough. So that's state of the art hallucination reduction. And so we kind of, what we do is we want to push that off to these subchats to do that in parallel, because you can see these agents are kind of working for you in the background. All right, so what we've done is an important thing here at the very top is we actually, when we're doing this stuff and we're creating all these chats here, we're switching the model. And so we gear down to a cheaper model, and I think I can find that somewhere. Let's see. So there, when we're going into analysis, we're actually switching to the more expensive model that's very good and accurate. And then I think what we can do is update chat config. And right here, so with all these tasks that it's hitting, it's just setting stuff up. It's just creating tasks. You want to set to a cheaper model. And this is very cheap, and it's very good at this tool calling. So you save more money. So as you go through all these tasks here, and then once you're going to analysis, you use the model that's the best for the job. You don't want to use an expensive model to do some tasks that it just does not need to do. And so what we're seeing is these purple chats are just like, hey, this is a chat that came back. And so it just returns that information from the subchats. And then here it's building a final report, right? So I started this chat at $41. It was $41. I should have showed. So it's not even $2. So that's kind of the comparison of what an agent can do for you. So what it's doing here is it's building a report that you can finalize it. So it's giving you a lot of feedback, site architecture, domain health architecture problems, keyword analysis, organic traffic. So it's very, very thorough and it's a lot of information. But how we kind of keep like the accuracy is, we kick off the task to sub chats so you don't get any context poisoning, because that's what kind of blows everything up. So we basically have this report now that normally takes like 2 weeks and $1,200, but now we can immediately make a decision, and we get the exact, what the tool does is it's going to recommend here soon the next steps. And so what you get is you get your recommended next steps and the ability to just go off and go fix them. So the agent tells you exactly what you need to do, and you can click it and then on to your next task. It will create something new. So it basically is like it's an assistant. And I definitely want to note is that this is not replacing somebody. You need to understand what this information is, how to work with it. It's definitely not, you cannot automate it. If you do, it will introduce absolutely catastrophic risk into the system. So definitely do not do that. But there you have it. A $24 or a $1,200 report and 2 weeks of time, done in about, I think, 10 minutes, if that, and for about $2. Yeah, about $1.50. Yeah, so those are the efficiency gains that we're seeing.